All right, Simon, you know that I've been trying to get this lady on for a really long time. I mean, I think this would be one of those individuals, you know, when you have that list of who you want to meet? You know, the person that you could ask a million questions to and know even then you still wouldn't be satisfied because you'd have so many more after they'd leave.
You're making her giggle in the background.
I know. And you know what? I'm known for my laugh. Well, you know what? She's known for hers too, which is fantastic. So
stop me in stores.
You see? I bet you people don't even recognize you, but they hear your laugh and they know it's you.
Absolutely, because I travel incognito. I look like a regular person. I dress grubbily and I don't wear makeup, and my hair's usually in a ponytail.
Oh, I'm going to find that one hard to believe. But let me tell you something. I think you are fantastic. So who are we talking to? Of course, everybody already knows. We've got Gail Vaz-Oxlade. And how do you, like that, Van Oxlade, where does that come from?
The Vaz part is originally Portuguese, I guess. I'm Jamaican. And it's my family name is Vaz. And then I went once upon a time, one of my many husbands was named Mr. Oxlade.
Okay.
Was he good with his money?
No, not.
Apparently not.
He was not.
That's why he's an ex.
Well, everybody knows Gail, of course, TV host of Till Death Do Us Part, which is so good. And the other one is Princess. I love that. And of course, Money Moron. And you've written countless books. I mean, and they're good reads, really good reads. What are your favorite?
The thing about my books is one of the reasons they're so good is I have an excellent editor. Kate Cassidy at HarperCollins has been editing me since I brought out Debt Free Forever.
Okay.
And she is a stickler for process. So, you know, what happens is when you're very close to the subject and you write on it, things go by you because you make an assumption about, you're not even consciously doing it. You just jump from step 1 to step 3. And she would go back and make me put in step 2, and she'd make me put in step 2 over and over and over again. I mean, there were times that I'd call her up and just swear at her, a blue streak. But she made the books so good because she was such a stickler for making sure everybody would understand.
Well, you have so many books. I mean, honestly, just go into the books section, take the time and look for you, and you have a plethora to choose from. But I think your starting point is interesting. I mean, you came at 17. Yes. You and your late brother immigrated to Canada with your parents.
Yes.
And you started off as an administrative assistant, and later you moved on to a marketing role. Is that kind of from there?
Sales.
Sales,
yeah. And the thing was is that I never planned to go into sales. It was the only option offered to me to make more money. So at the time, I think I was making about, I don't know, maybe $16,000 or $17,000 a year. And they said, if you want to make more money, you have to go out and sell stuff because our administrative people don't make more than that. And so I went into sales and I puked every day for a year. I did. I absolutely did.
Now, was it a great learning experience?
Totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It made me realize that no is not the end of the conversation. No is just, I just haven't convinced you.
In fact, it's a window of opportunity when somebody says no.
And so, you know, it made me an incredibly tenacious person. It also made me have a very thick skin because you have to deal with so much rejection when you're in sales that if you take it personally, you don't last. So the fact that you last means that you develop a thick skin, which is a very good thing for becoming a public personality because people take pot shots at you all the time.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, Simon and I always laugh. It's like, you know, when somebody, if they do ever say anything, which I just don't even know what the point is, but if you can't be nice, don't say anything at all. But unfortunately, people will. But at the end of the day, we kind of look at each other and go, had much worse.
And
right?
The thing is that I get tweets sometimes that are quite nasty, and I just retweet them.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I retweet the good stuff and I retweet the crap too.
Fantastic. Well, it's even more reason why I love you. All right, let's talk about this because we have the same agreement in our country, and that is, I think we're money morons. A lot of people just do not know how to manage their wealth. They don't understand how to turn $1 into $2 and then how to save it for later.
Yep.
Certainly people in their 70s or beyond, Simon, you have to agree with this. They absolutely do know how. They are our wealth. But unfortunately, people
70s and beyond manage their money? Not necessarily. And I'm pretty sure Gail's going to echo that as well. There are a lot of people that are hitting retirement and completely mismanaged everything.
Absolutely. And the thing that is significantly different about this generation than the previous generations is that up until about 1980, I would say, credit was not as prevalent as it is now. Back then, getting a credit card meant you have to be able to prove that you were completely capable of managing it, because back then credit was granted. Now credit is sold. So it's gone from being something you earn by your ability to prove you can manage it to something that we will give to everybody and, oh, please, here's some rope. Why don't you go hang yourself?
And the more you owe, oh, please, we'll actually up your, your credit limit.
Yes. One of the things that my Twitter followers do on the regular is they tweet me the enticements that they get from their banks. So, hey, it's cold and wet outside, and if you had a line of credit, you could go to Jamaica. So apply today.
Right, yeah. So credit is the real enemy. This is what's caused. Okay.
Well, it's a product.
Carrot that got dangled in front of people. Well, yes, it is only a product, but it's a product we're very unfamiliar with, and a product that has been offered to us in an enticing way, without real explanation of what the downsides could be.
And Gail,
you hardly ever get a banker that says to you, "No, if you misuse this, we could actually take away your home."
No, of course, they don't tell you any of those negatives, right? They're certainly not like those drug companies when you watch those commercials and they tell you everything that could possibly happen when you consume this, right? Where their point is you just say, "I'll never buy that. I'm too scared." No, they would never, ever do that. Not in a million years. But when we're talking also about our education system, do you not think that we're failing our children, though, where we don't have in our school systems? We used to have accounting classes. I mean, I remember this, Simon. We at least learned how to write a check. I mean, there's nothing now. I mean, kids seem to be clueless.
We still have accounting classes for the kids that take accounting.
Right.
The thing is that the way our educational system has worked, we have pushed courses that used to be taught in university into the high school system. So once upon a time, you didn't learn calculus in high school.
Right.
Okay? It was your first-year university program. And so now that these courses are in high school, kids are streaming much earlier to courses that they're going to need to go to university. And so practical programs are getting lost because academic programs are at the forefront. I honestly believe, particularly if you live in a province that has a careers option in high school, that the careers option could easily be lost in financial literacy put there.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, I mean, I don't care how much you learn about ledgers and economics. If you don't learn how to create and preserve wealth, you've got nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's interesting because I am not a huge proponent of putting this into schools. I actually believe this needs to be taught at home.
Right.
Because so many of the basic skills are skills you need to do on the daily, and taking a 6-week or 2-week part of the curriculum and making it into a financial literacy program isn't necessarily going to reinforce the habits you have to build, like savings, setting aside some of the money you could spend today so you have some money for the future.
Now, Gail, the problem is that a lot of the parents are the worst offenders.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? If you don't have enough of a commitment to your own children to figure out your money crap so that you can be their guide, then you're no kind of parent at all.
Yeah, that's very true.
It's that simple.
I remember actually getting flack from a lady that saw me opening up an account when McKenna was really tiny and opening up a bank account, and they kind of just questioned, why are you even doing that? It was, to me, it's just that's what my parents did with me. So it just made perfect sense, but to this individual, they thought it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Everybody has a different perspective.
Yeah, I guess you're absolutely right. Okay, let's talk about this because, Simon, before we came on air and got Gail on the phone here, we were talking about, there's a lot of people that are wanting to buy a home, and when Simon does the numbers with them and analyzes the situation, he's like, you know what, you're really not in a position, even though you might have the down payment, you might have help from the parents and what have you, you're still not in a position to actually be owning a home. You should probably wait, rent for a little longer until you have a better cushion, the ability to handle those rough spots, those tough days.
Well, not everybody can own a home.
Right.
Not everybody has the income to own a home. I can't tell you the number of letters I get from people making $35,000 or $40,000 a year that tell me they want to buy their own home. And I think to myself, you can't afford to pay the taxes on that home on the regular, never mind a mortgage payment.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have found creative solutions where I still recall We had 2 single moms come to us. Neither one of them could individually afford to buy a home. We put them into a triplex where one lady lived in one unit, the other lived in the second, and we rented out the third. And their costs of ownership were actually less than they were paying in rent. And you fast forward 5 years, they created $300,000 in equity in that property.
But Simon, that's your creativity, though. That's your expertise.
That's not them, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, and you have to find people who are willing to go into this venture together, because it meant they had to trust each other enough to do this deal together.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, in this case, they were friends, but I think I agree with you, Gail. A lot of people just buy to the edge of their limit, and here's what we typically get: how much can I afford? And we tell them $550, and they go, "Well, can we spend $7 because my cousin has a house in this neighborhood, and I got to keep up." And it's just that mentality that people are out to impress.
Absolutely.
Rather than create wealth.
Absolutely. And over again, I say to people, you are not what you have. You are what you do. And so if you are always measuring yourself by what you have, you're measuring yourself the wrong way, because it is what you do with your life. It is how you use your energy to create your personal sense of abundance that makes all the difference in the world, not whether you have granite countertops or are driving a foreign-made car. If people are interested in building their own sense of financial security, then they should go to mymoneymychoices.com. I built this financial literacy website to help people understand that there's actually a path you take. This is not an airy-fairy, I wish I knew more about money. These are the actions you take to build a solid financial foundation.
Yeah, I love it. And before we wrap up, I have to ask you, Gail, these people in that where you're there to help them. I mean, you're doing serious intervention in some cases. And I'm sure us viewers shake our heads going, is this real? Are these people
real.
legit?
Absolutely. And this is I've left television.
Yeah. Oh, I did not.
TV. Yeah, I stopped making TV. I retired last year, and this is exactly the reason why I've stopped making television. Every single show we did, regardless of what title it came by, was a real representation of their reality and our interaction. When the network started interfering with that, I got out of business.
Do you know what? It makes me like you even more. We call that integrity.
Well, and the thing is that, because people are doubtful enough about the reality being real.
Yes, very much so.
There's no way I would let anybody muck with the reality. And it's a very tough business to be in and stay true to the reality, because everything is about drumming up the drama.
Well, Gail, let me tell you this. Okay, you have an open invite. This door will fly open for you, okay? Because we want you to be exactly who you are, and we certainly want everything to be told like it is. I mean, Simon loves that. I'm just a little more delicate about it, but this is what we're all about. We're about educating our viewers and listeners. It's about the real goods, and when we're on location doing whatever, it's us. It's real, and that's what people expect, because they want to understand, they want to learn, and they want to know that they're being, given the real goods and being cared for and looked after.
That's right.
And you've done a great job. So hats off to you. I apologize, I didn't know that. And I think it's because I watch you all the time. I see you all.
A lot of people still don't realize that I have left the business, because they see the shows running constantly and they think that they're still in production. I get a lot of letters from people saying, can I get on your show, even now? But the reality is that has run its course in terms of it maintaining its integrity. And so I move on to other things.
Well, Honey Bunny, we can keep you real busy. We're going to have to chat.
Yes, we will.
All right, sweetheart. Well, listen, you have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for calling in, and we love you.
Okay, take care.
Great chatting. See you soon.